Hello and welcome to Hot Takes on the Classics. We wanted to take a moment to ask you to go like us, or maybe even write a review if you enjoy this podcast. If you don't, just walk on by. It's fine, just walk on by. So go write us a review. And now on with our second season, a season on love.
I believe that there is one story in the world, and only one, that has frightened and inspired us, so that we live in a pearl-white cereal of continuing thought and wonder. Humans are caught in their lives, in their thoughts, in their hungers and ambitions, in their avarice and cruelty, and in their kindness and generosity too, in a net of good and evil. I think this is the only story we have, and that it occurs on all levels of feeling and intelligence. Virtue and vice were warp and woof of our first consciousness, and they will be the fabric of our last, and this despite any changes we may impose on field and river and mountain, on economy and manners. There is no other story. A man, after he has brushed off the dust and chips of life, will have left only the hard, clean questions. Was it good or was it evil? Have I done well or ill? Welcome to Hot Takes on the Classics. My name is Emily Maeda, and that was a quote from East of Eden by John Steinbeck. And I am joined here by Tim McIntosh for our second season on love. We're using C.S. Lewis's book, The Four Loves, as a sort of scaffolding to climb on as we talk about affection or storge, brotherly love, philia, romance or eros, and charity or agape in the classics. We're starting with storge, affection, the most basic and natural form of love. So, Tim, tell me what East of Eden has to do with this.
Emily, we should tell our audience that you're a little bit of a listener on this book also, because you haven't read East of Eden yet. You've read other Steinbeck, but yeah, right.
East of Eden. So I'm excited. I'm excited to hear about it.
This is definitely a book about storge, or maybe a lack of storge, because it's a story of kind of a rivalry between brothers, a rivalry between fathers and sons, a lack of love between mother and sons. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's hard. That part is one of the hardest parts of the book. So
while Little Women was a picture of the ideal family,
yeah,
this is the bent side of storge.
That is exactly right. That's a great transition from.
It's good to have both, right? We can't just have one depiction. That's what makes it complex.
Let me tell you a little bit about John Steinbeck. He is undoubtedly one of the most beloved and well-read American novelists of the 20th century. Most of us have read Of Mice and Men and or Grapes of Wrath, if we attended public high school. They're kind of until relatively recently, I think they've fallen out of favor a little bit, but
yeah, they were standard.
They were standard. Even in England and in Wales, they got a great reading over there in the public school systems.
That makes sense to me because Grapes of Wrath is such a vivid picture of the Depression, right? So if you're studying U.S. history or trying to get a feel for the American psyche, it's a great book. It encapsulates that so well. I have to say, I did not read Grapes of Wrath until 15 years ago. And oh my gosh, that book almost killed me.
Oh, it's brutal.
So brutal. So
Emily, do you know how much trouble John Steinbeck got in publicly for that book?
I mean, I can imagine. I don't know that I've read about his troubles, but I can imagine. Tell me.
Well, he, in fairness to him, he was kind of flirting with communism at a time.
Right.
And soon afterwards, it was terrible to have any association with communism. But the book, Grapes of Wrath, it's a pretty severe indictment of a capitalistic system, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So he got in a lot of trouble over that. He was, in the papers. There were protests outside of his house. It was rough. A great book. And I think Of Mice and Men, I don't think it's quite the masterpiece that Grapes of Wrath is, but but it's also just like, especially for a young reader,
Yeah.
it is an introduction to what a story can do to you. And it can
For sure.
devastate you,
And
right?
it can devastate you. Yes, absolutely. I remember the first time I read Of Mice and Men, which I did read in high school, and it is devastating. Both of those novels. The final scene in Grapes of Wrath, like I was like, so anyway, keep going.
Steinbeck won the Nobel Prize. I just want to say, sometimes I hear Pulitzer Prize, Nobel Prize, and I want to just say, Pulitzer Prize is hard to get. You don't win a Pulitzer Prize every day. The Nobel Prize is even harder to get.
Really is. Really is.
Because it's kind of a career award, right?
Yeah.
So Steinbeck, in his day, was awarded a Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to that a little bit later because there's a little controversy around the Nobel Prize, him receiving the Nobel Prize. But I think today everyone would say his best book, as far as just sheer quality, is Grapes of Wrath. But Steinbeck considered this book, East of Eden, to be his triumph. So, quote from him, "It has everything," does East of Eden, "in it that I have been able to learn about my craft or profession in all of these years."
We were just discussing off the air the strange paradox that for artists often consider a work to be their greatest that nobody else does.
What's the piece of music that we discussed last season? The Russian composer, forgive me, Tchaikovsky's.
Oh, Tchaikovsky, yes. Yeah, the 1812 Overture.
Like he kind of thought, he didn't think of it as his masterpiece by any means, right?
No, he was mad that people... And that's, of course, what he's known for.
Right.
A hard truth, not his
like
serious symphonies. Yeah, not his serious symphonies. But this 1812 Overture, which he didn't even like,
Crazy.
So we also did, Mark Twain felt that Joan of Arc was his best novel. And no one else did.
It wasn't. Yeah, nobody agrees with you, Mark. Sorry.
I love it that he thought that, but nobody else thinks it.
Emily, we talked in our last episode about Little Women, that Little Women is kind of kept alive because like every generation or maybe every like 15 or 20 years, a new movie of Little Women has done. We love the most recent Little Women. I think it was done 6 years ago. I think East of Eden is similar, not because we do every 15 years a new version of it, but it's the movie version and specifically one actor in the movie version that is kind of like kept this book's memory alive. Do you know who that actor is?
Well, we did discuss this. I had forgotten, though. It's James Dean.
James Dean.
But
James Dean, say.
Well, no, I just wonder, like, James Dean is such a crazy cultural figure because was he even that great of an actor? But he was just so, like, he was a symbol for a generation, right? And he dies.
100%. 100%.
And is that part of the reason that we even still care about James Dean? You know what I mean? It's kind of funny, isn't it? But yes, he is in East of Eden.
I think I tried to make a comp for James Dean. He has like all the good looks of Timothée Chalamet. I don't think that he's a terribly good actor, is James Dean. I
kind of don't either.
Yeah. And I think some people in the industry who kind of knew him were like, doesn't know his lines. He's just a real pain to work with. But he embodied this kind of like look and attitude, especially in the late 50s and early 60s. Rebel without a cause.
Rebel without a cause.
Right? So this movie, East of Eden, starring James Dean, this is the only movie that was released during James Dean's lifetime.
That's wild. I did not know that.
I asked Emily, if Clark could drop in just a little bit of the preview of East of Eden about James Dean. I just want to play it now for you. It's about 30 seconds.
Yes, life in its every emotion leaps from the pages of John Steinbeck's best of all his bestsellers. And to bring new vitality to every explosive chapter, to capture for you the stark realism of people who love so deeply, hate so fiercely, live so recklessly, Warner Brothers had to seek out vibrant new personalities, tap new sources of talent, create new stars. James Dean as Cal, the wildest boy you've ever met.
When I hear a preview like that, Emily, that was only, I think, 1961. And it's like, oh my gosh, the world has changed so much.
Yeah.
You will meet the wildest boy you will ever meet. And it's like, so tame. He's a cowboy with a bad attitude. It's kind of what James Dean plays. Anyway, the world has changed so much.
Can I just say one thing
yeah, please,
before you go into Steinbeck? Can we just comment on the fact that Timothée Chalamet has appeared in 2 of our podcasts now? May it never be so again. Now back to Steinbeck.
Now back to
Steinbeck.
Steinbeck was part of a generation of American writers. It's really kind of remarkable. There are some like great names that were his almost exact contemporaries. So, Ernest Hemingway, almost an exact contemporary. He was born 3 years before Steinbeck. Langston Hughes, born 1 year before Steinbeck. Faulkner, born about 7 years before Steinbeck. And Fitzgerald, 6 years before Steinbeck. These are legends.
That's amazing.
Legends.
What were we talking about? We were talking about another period in our last recording, and I'm not going to think of it, but this funny thing of like, why is it that there's this huge collection of artists that all appear at the same time? It really is. It's like this is the American moment, isn't it? Like America has had a inferiority complex with Europe. Henry James is maybe the one who best brings that together. But then right after Henry James, there's this explosion of American writers. But like it hasn't kind of happened before, you know?
That's exactly right.
And Steinbeck is one of them.
We were talking about this when we were talking about the Greek tragedians.
Oh, thank you. That's what it was.
Greek writers.
Yes.
And around the time of Socrates, and we're still reading their plays today.
Yes.
Yeah,
and this will be the same.
This will be the same.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of locate geographically where Steinbeck is in the United States. So Hemingway is writing from abroad. Almost all of his books are.
Yeah, right.
From Europe, Italy, France, Spain. There's one in Africa. Langston Hughes is writing from Harlem. He's the leader of the Harlem Renaissance. Faulkner is writing from the American South, especially Mississippi.
Right.
Fitzgerald is kind of, he's a little bit harder to place geographically. Steinbeck is plotted almost entirely in California, and within California, almost entirely in the Salinas Valley.
Yeah,
that's where he was born and raised. Yeah.
He's the first Western writer, isn't he?
Yeah, he kind of is. So it's interesting, like when events that are happening, like the Civil War closes shortly before Little Women, right? What's going on during Little Women? It's so prominent if you are on the Eastern Seaboard because armies are marching through your backyard. Yeah. Everything in California is a little bit later because it's just not as directly affected.
Right, it's cut off from the rest, right? You have that sense. And that even in the Grapes of Wrath, they come from the East, but you have that sense of like California being almost its own entity, which I think plays a role in all of his novels.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does.
I mean, the place plays a role in a much different way than these other writers.
He's a man that's like really close to the land, had a real affection for nature in a way maybe that Wendell Berry is really located with the soil. Steinbeck reminds me of him in that way. That's about where the similarities end, but in that way, there's kind of so he grew up in this little rural valley, which is basically like almost the frontier.
Right,
he was
it is the frontier.
Born and raised. 25 miles from the Pacific coast. It is not the highly developed, Western seaboard that we think of today.
Yeah, exactly. It's the sticks. You know who else is in his lineage?
Who?
Stegner, Wallace Stegner.
Wallace Stegner, yes.
Picks up where he leaves off,
Steinbeck grew up Episcopalian, and this is going to play into my hot take, so I just want to spend just a second here. He has a deep knowledge of the Christian scriptures. Like every page, there's an allusion to the Proverbs, an Old Testament prophet. in a lot of ways, he's a lot more Old Testament than he is New Testament. But
Interesting.
Anyway,
Interesting.
they so deeply shape his moral frame, Steinbeck's, even though later in life he considers himself to be an agnostic.
Huh. Yeah, right.
The title of the book, East of Eden, do you want to make a guess about where, you probably know where it comes from.
Right. And that's why you feel the darkness right from the start, because it's Cain is banished, right?
100%.
After he kills Abel.
From
East of
chapter
Eden.
4 of Genesis, and Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of the Eden.
Yeah.
So this is a big, sprawling book. It covers 3 generations of the Trask family, and there's an overriding question that haunts the whole book. These sons in these families are asking themselves, do I bear the mark of Cain?
Yeah. Oof. It's intense. Well, the other thing about this, and even from that opening quote, you can see that he feels these archetypal images, right? Like this is an archetypal image.
Yes.
And that opening quote is archetypal as well. Like a larger, this character stands for more than just themselves, right? They're an archetype.
They are.
Yeah.
He
interesting.
has a mythical, primeval touch.
Quality.
When he's at his best, his best, that's how he writes. And I think he is superb. The story covers 3 generations of one family, the Trask family. We meet the patriarch of these 3 generations. His name is Cyrus. He's a wild soldier, kind of dissolute. He loses a leg in battle. His wife is almost completely silent. We get almost nothing from her until she drowns herself in a pond.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
In a very shallow pond. She basically just decides she's going to hold herself underwater.
Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah. So that's the flavor we've got right from the beginning, Emily.
She is not the ideal mother. Not the ideal mother.
Yeah, right. Oh, it will get worse as far as ideal mothers go. It will get much worse. They have 2 sons, Charles and Adam, who are very much in the mold of Cain and Abel. C and A. Charles and Adam, Cain and Abel. The best parts of the book for me are about this relationship.
Okay.
Kind of the first half of the book is about Charles and Adam. Adam in particular, I think he's very well drawn in the first part of the book. Emily, are you noticing how many times I'm saying
the first part of the book?
Early part of the book. In
the first
early part of the book. Right. Because when you read this book, I promise you will be drawn in and you'll be like, how have this is incredible. And then we'll get to it. Things start to change a little bit. Adam in particular as a character is wonderfully drawn. He's quiet, he's gentle, but he enlists in the army kind of to please his dad. And it stunts him emotionally, spiritually in almost every way, harkening back to our first season on war. You can really see war's imprint all over Adam. 4 parts to the book. I'll cover them very quickly. The first part is about the Trask family. It's really concentrating on Adam and Charles. After their father dies, they inherit a huge fortune. This fortune will come to Adam, and we don't know it yet, but Adam has moved to the Salinas Valley, where Steinbeck grew up, and we kind of lose track with Charles. When the inheritance money comes, it's for Adam and Charles, and that's the way that Adam finds out that his brother has died. They completely kind of lose touch with each other. It's very much in this early part, the theme is razor tight on this biblical story of Cain and Abel, these brothers, and there's all sorts of animosity between the 2 of them.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Please.
Does Charles die or does Adam die?
Charles dies.
Oh, so that's a shaking up of the Cain and Abel, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Interesting. But Adam doesn't kill him.
No, Adam does not kill him.
Okay.
But at one point, Charles, it's relayed to us in a kind of a little bit of a stream of consciousness. like the camera lens is a little bit closed, and we see Charles standing over Adam with an axe in his hand.
Oh, okay.
And later, Adam is like, oh my gosh, he was trying to kill me. And why was he trying to kill him? Emily, it's because Charles did not find favor from the father.
Right. Charles was not loved.
Right? A real kind of echoing of the Cain and Abel story, that Abel's sacrifice was pleasing to God.
Right.
Not Cain's.
Right.
So that's kind of like the source of like the worst part of the animosity.
Yeah.
Okay. We leave the brothers for a little bit, and we join a woman named Cathy. She's a young woman, and we meet her. She's very precocious and very sharp, and we kind of learn there's something really wrong here. Something's really wrong with Cathy. And there's this really haunting episode where her school teacher shows up in a kind of drunken stupor, knocking on the front door of her family's house. And he starts asking for Cathy. Cathy's very young at this point. Father does not answer the door. School teacher stumbles off into the dark, and he's found the next morning dead of suicide.
Oh, dear.
But he'd been asking from the porch for Cathy. And you're like,
oh, dear.
What's going on?
What's going on?
You don't know. Cathy runs away from home. How does she earn her money?
Yeah.
She's enlisted by a brothel.
The oldest profession.
The owner and operator of the brothel is a man who really falls under her spell. He falls madly in love with her. He's already married, so he's got to kind of keep her secret. He gets her own house, a lot of money, but she starts stealing from him. He finds out. He confronts her, and he beats her almost to the point of death. Now,
oh dear,
Cathy. All right, it's a heartwarming tale of family affection. Cathy, with a broken arm, crawls from the place that she was beat, and she crawls to like the nearest house. Emily, whose house is it?
Well, okay, is it Adam's house?
It's Adam and Charles's house.
Wait, on the East Coast or in California?
On the East Coast.
Oh dear.
So
what happens next?
Adam has not moved yet to the West Coast. He moves with Cathy to the Salinas
Why does he
Valley.
fall in love? Does he fall in love with her?
Madly in
No.
love. Okay.
No.
Oh, it's even worse, Emily. It's even
No.
worse. As they're traveling across country, Cathy is pregnant with twins. And so you're like, oh, Adam, great, you're going to have sons.
Yeah.
Until you remember they're Charles's sons.
Wait, how did Charles get involved?
Because Adam and Charles were still living at the same place in the East Coast. They were sharing a house. She's beat up. Adam falls in love with Cathy, nurses her back to health.
What, but she's been sleeping with Charles?
And she sleeps with Charles one time. It's inexplicable. It's not inexplicable. But when she goes to Charles's room, Steinbeck shows us, when she goes to Charles's room, you're like, tell me you're not going to do this. Adam is madly in love with you. We know that you're not in love with Adam, but don't sleep with Charles.
With the brother?
She does.
Oh. And of course she gets pregnant. Okay, can I just say something?
Yes.
She's pregnant with twins. Now,
Yes.
if we're thinking archetypally and biblically, do we now think of Jacob and Esau?
A little bit. Because maybe you could say God was not pleased with Esau. He was with Jacob. And so that would play out on the sons that are going to be born to Cathy and Adam.
I'm thinking, maybe Steinbeck doesn't even know what he's writing, but he's dealing with these images, right? And so you've got twins.
He is.
Right, and this plays through the Old Testament, like the siblings that are at odds. And with Jacob and Esau, it's twins. So when you said twins, that's what it tripped.
For me, I think it is a replay of Cain and Abel.
Completely.
And with the possibility that there might be some other sort of end to both Cain and Abel. There might be some sort of like, is there some way to get the mark of Cain off of me? I think that's like the preoccupation of the book. Okay.
Right.
Cathy basically they kind of get settled in California. The boys are born. Next day, Cathy comes to Adam and she says, hey, you know what? I'm out. Never really wanted to be married. Definitely don't want to be a mom. I've got a pistol in my hand if you don't let me go. And Adam's like, I'm not going to let you go. She caps him in the shoulder. So Cathy is
she's an anti-mother. She's an anti-woman.
An anti-mother.
Yeah.
And I think that she is clinically a psychopath. I don't think there's any other way to read her because she's...
Right.
And this is before, like, you know, we have like deep diagnostic tools or whatever, but Steinbeck, I think, knew what he was describing.
Yeah.
And this woman she's clearly a psychopath. There's no human affection in her.
Yeah.
She has the ability to attract men, but oh my goodness, she hates him. It's almost like the more that they love her, the more repulsed she is by them.
Right.
Okay. I want to introduce one more character. We're in the kind of third part of the book. This other character is the loyal servant of Adam. After Cathy has left, she leaves to join a brothel. I don't understand it, but that's what she does.
Oh, dear.
The loyal servant Lee is now in the picture. Okay. So Lee almost becomes a sort of like stand-in mother, full of ancient wisdom. And
interesting.
He is trying to kind of like articulate the idea to the boys that maybe it's not our blood that really defines our destiny. Maybe it's the kind of people that we are. Maybe it's our character. So Lee is trying to kind of like share this message with Adam, with the boys. Now, I want to pause here. I think the question that Steinbeck is dealing with, the whole question of sort of like, is it in my blood to be grotesque,
crazy,
immoral, and crazy? Do you ever wake up at night thinking that? Honest.
Wait, is it in my blood to be crazy?
Right. Like, not be crazy, but to be like, you are bent toward like destruction and other people's harm. Is it part of your genetic code?
Well, I mean, maybe we don't think that, that what's the word? Starkly? I mean, because you and I don't have anything that tragic in our past. Although I do have a crazy story about my great-great-grandfather who did murder his wife.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'll tell you that story at another point. Yeah. But maybe we do think it somewhat just, am I fated to be like my father in the things that I didn't appreciate about him, right? Like
totally.
To what degree do I carry on generational sin? I don't know. What do you want to call it, right? The things, is it just our way, or is this something that, I can choose and be different?
That's the question of the book.
This is the question of Antigone too, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. For me, I think Americans tend to not think about
I think we think about it less than almost anybody else.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I think this book will be hard to appreciate unless you accept that the boys do fear this. And let me just tell a story from like my own life about how real this could sit on someone. I had a friend, I'm going to call my friend Brad. Brad's father was in prison for rape. Brad, like probably when I met him, was 25. This haunted Brad.
Yeah,
Not just that this was like who his father was, but he was always, always, always asking himself, am I that guy? Is that in my blood? Is that like my legacy to repeat that? And this is an awful ending. Brad ended his own life. I don't know that it had anything to do with like this kind of like preoccupation, but I do know enough to say he was overwhelmingly preoccupied with this question.
Well,
and so
of course.
Think that's the brothers in this book are asking themselves the same question because of their mother.
Because of their mother, yeah.
They don't know who she is. Adam, Cathy's husband, tells the boys she's died. Oh, we'd like to go see her grave. Oh, they took her body back to the East Coast. He just wants to hide the leg, like who she was. The boys find out. Cal finds out first. And Aaron finds out later when they're young men, and they are deeply affected by it. So this is part 3 of the book. Cal discovers his mother's true identity. He goes to talk to her. She's awful to him. And now she's killed the former owner of the brothel where she worked, and now she's the owner of the brothel. She's kind of this demonic character. And so, of course, Caleb and Aaron are wondering with this. At one point, Caleb, often called Cal in the book, takes Aaron to go see his mother in the brothel. Aaron is a very kind of pure boy, spiritual aspirations. He wants to be an Episcopal priest. He meets his mother, Emily. He snaps.
Oh, gosh.
And instead of going back to college, he enlists in the army. World War I is being fought.
Oh,
and he's killed in the war.
It's just like Adam.
It is.
It's exactly like couldn't they have thought of 2 different letters to start their boys' names with? Aaron and Caleb.
Couldn't they?
Maybe that's the trouble. Why did you give them the names Aaron and Caleb?
Right.
Well, because Steinbeck really wants to play this out, doesn't he?
He really does. Before Aaron enlists in the war, there's a conversation between Lee, another character named Samuel, and Adam, and they're discussing the Cain and Abel story. And this is the crucial part. This is like philosophically the crucial part of the book. I'm just going to read you what Lee says. Again, Lee, the Chinese servant who's kind of like the voice of wisdom. The Hebrew word, says Lee, timshel, means thou mayest. It gives a choice. It might be the most important word in the world. It says that the way is open. It says that it throws it right back on man. For if thou mayest, timshel, if thou mayest, it is also true that thou mayest not. This truth makes a man great and gives him stature with the gods. For in his weakness and his filth, he still has the great choice. He can still choose his course and fight it through and win. That discussion is kind of like a real centerpiece of the book. And I'm going to say right now, if you don't want to know how the book concludes, fast forward for 30 seconds. Emily, close your ears if you don't want to hear it. As
just tell it.
Adam is dying after his son enlisted in the war, his closing word to his son Cal, who is haunted by this, is timshel.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So he speaks life over his son.
He speaks life over his son, or is it he speaks, you have a choice. You are a decider.
Yeah. But that's life, right? I mean,
it is.
I'm contrasting that with the father in The Sound and the Fury, who hands his son a clock and says, "Here is the mausoleum of all hope and desire." Right? Like that. Yeah. He speaks death over his son.
Yes.
So this word, "thou mayest," it's an opening of possibility. It's not a closing down of the horizon, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Which is what they have been worried, like they have been thinking, is it all fate, right? Am I just fated, much like what they're suffering with in the Greek tragedies? Am I just fated to continue this dysfunction, right?
That's right. It's a great allusion to the Greek tragedies. Like, am I fated to do this through my blood? And the father, Adam says, no.
You are not. You are
get
not.
To choose.
Yeah.
Okay, Emily, now, let me give a little review of this book before I give you my hot take. Emily, the first 100, maybe 150 pages of this book are honestly as good as anything that I've read in American fiction. I was riveted. Steinbeck has, as we mentioned earlier, a real gift for the mythic.
Yeah. He does.
The last 100 and 150 pages are this sort of like telegraph bursts of plot points. No characters, a death, reports of war, Chinese philosophizing, business failure, more Chinese maxim and philosophizing, romance, more Chinese philosophizing. I have never read, I mean this with one possible exception, a book that is more uneven. It is, when it's good, it is great. When it is bad, it is pulp fiction. And I'm not exaggerating. It's pulp fiction.
I want to know the other book that you put in that category. I'm
going to tell you.
Okay.
Did you read, Harper Lee,
To
Kill a Mockingbird?
Yeah.
For me, like,
brilliant.
all time great. Every page is just like gleaming. She followed up very recently, like 5 years ago, with Go Set a Watchman.
Yeah, right.
First 150 pages of Go Set a Watchman, I'm like, oh my gosh, Harper Lee, where have you been? It's so wonderful. It's so great. Wait, Harper, what happened? And the wheels come off the boat. Oh, come off the boat. Come off the train.
Why?
Honestly, you could almost point to the place where you're like, what happened?
What happened?
It started right here. So I didn't know this. I don't want to gossip about Harper Lee. I've heard she was an alcoholic.
Well, okay. Right.
That's the reason she only really published. This is me. This is total and complete speculation. Either after the first 150 pages, Steinbeck either started drinking or stopped drinking.
Yeah, right.
Right? It was one or the other. I don't even know how to explain it. Let me just give you a couple of examples. So, this is like Steinbeck at his best. Let's start there. And then I'll give one example of Steinbeck at his worst, and then we'll go to our hot take. So this is about Silas Trask, the patriarch at the beginning of the story. So he's the patriarch, and he loved to tell great tall tales about his involvement in the war, and he never got caught in his lie. Here's what Steinbeck says about him. There was one thing Cyrus did not do, and perhaps it was clever of him. He never once promoted himself to non-commissioned rank. Private Trask he began, and Private Trask he remained. In the total telling, it made him one of the most mobile and ubiquitous privates in the history of warfare.
It's a good
Great
line.
You
learn a lot about him from that one quote.
Exactly.
Yes.
Here's a description of Samuel Hamilton. He's part of the conversation with Lee about like the mark of Cain. He's a good-natured, very funny Irish immigrant. Quote, they called Samuel a comic genius, and they carried his stories carefully home, and they wondered at how the stories spilled out on the way, for they never sounded the same repeated in their own kitchens. Really good, right? Yeah,
Once again. Yeah.
After the mother dies, the mother of Adam and Charles, Adam and Charles are infants, and they're neglected for 3 days as the family mourns. There's no mother around to care for them, right? Quote, at the end of the 3 days, his father finally went out and bought a goat. The baby, Adam, drank the milk greedily, vomited, drank more, and was on his way. His father did not find the reaction alarming since he was doing the very same thing. It's great, right? It's great. Like the opening 150 are full of instances of that. And like, you're like, Steinbeck, the genius. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
We've just got to talk a little bit about like when it's not going well. So I just have to recount. This is from the close of the book. In 2 pages, Cal, just think about all the major plot points that happen in about 2 pages. I'm just going to list them for you. Cal, this is the son of Adam,
right,
burns up a fortune in gold certificates, just lights them on fire. Then he hears that his mother has committed suicide. Then he hears that his brother has quit college and enlisted in World War I, and that his father has had a debilitating stroke. He gets all of that in a like 3 minutes of his life. And he learns all of this through Lee, the Chinese servant, who we are told over and over and over is a man of wisdom and deep philosophy. Yeah. And this is how Lee tells Cal about his mother's death. Ready? Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Quote, this is Lee speaking, quote, I don't like your father's looks. He's got a dazed look. Oh, I forgot. You don't know yet. Your mother committed suicide last night.
No.
I promise you.
No.
Cal's mother is like this source of like deep longing for him. And yet hearing the news,
forgot.
how does Cal respond? Here we go again.
How?
Did she? Said Cal. I hope it hurt. It's like, I don't understand. I don't understand. John, what's going on with your book? So the quality of the writing of Eating and Eating is so varied, Emily. It's like the seismographic needle that just flies all over the page. At its best, it's like this long primeval myth about like the earth-deep structure of family and romance. At its worst, it's a teletype play full of like shallow characters and overwrought dialogue that just lacks any sort of subtext. Characters saying like, I am so angry right now. You are being mean. And you're like, no one talks like this.
Well, my 5-year-old does. My 5-year-old talks just like that.
Exactly.
Okay, this sounds, the last part when you just related the thing about what happens to Cal, do you know what that sounds like to me?
What?
It sounds like a soap opera. Like that's what happens in soap operas. Like, you can say, that sounds like a soap opera, but literally that's how soap operas go.
Totally.
Right?
Plot
so
point
it's a
upon plot point upon plot.
Right.
Yes, totally.
That's a progenitor of the soap opera, which of course hadn't. Well, they were maybe on the radio at that point. Yeah, they were.
Oh,
isn't that wild? When was this written?
We can't think that he was stealing plot points from like soap opera radio.
No, but I'm just saying, maybe it affected him. Maybe he was watching soap operas when he did it right. Who knows? Oh no, we didn't say that. That's not the hot take.
Right, that's not the hot take. Okay, I just got like one other kind of complaint, but I want to couch it in like a compliment to Steinbeck. So on the West Coast, no, this is true. On the West Coast, there was terrible anti-Chinese prejudice at the time.
Oh, horrible.
Did you know that the first zoning laws in American history were around Chinese launderers in San Francisco? There's
absolutely.
Do you know reason that there were zoning laws except for to be like, we don't like Chinese launderers doing our laundry. We're going to zone them out of like nice neighborhoods.
Right. Well, there's the, I can't remember what the name of the act is, but in the late 1800s, no Asian immigrant to the West Coast could receive citizenship. And they were not allowed citizenship until 1948. And I know this because my husband's parents were from Japan. And they came in the early 1900s and did not become U.S. citizens until 1948, after they'd been put in the camps. So, yeah, there was huge amounts of anti-Asian discrimination on the West Coast.
I think Steinbeck is really committed to making Lee, this Chinese servant, a kind of a voice of moral rectitude and goodness.
He's the only one that gets it. He's the only one that gets it within the novel, right?
But so I don't want to be like, oh my gosh, when you hear some of the lines I'm going to read to you from Lee, you're going to be like, Steinbeck,
this is
what are
so
you doing?
bad. This needs to be canceled. I mean, not that it does.
And I really think I want to defend Steinbeck. I think it was with absolutely good intentions. It just sounds so racist when you hear it. Quote number 1 from Lee. My oriental calm has deserted me.
He did not write that.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Another one.
Oriental. First of all, Oriental. I mean, which is,
very out of fashion
we'll keep
now,
going.
Right? Another from Lee. I don't think I've ever known what you people call happiness. We Chinese think of contentment as the desirable thing. One more. We're controlled, we Chinese, said Lee. We show no emotion. And it's like
tropes. All the tropes.
Yes.
All the Asian tropes. How many more can we get in here?
Totally.
And he's speaking them. Right.
He's speaking them. Okay, I don't want to be too hard on Stomach, though. I'm convinced it is not like he was just an anti-Chinese. No. He was trying. He just didn't succeed.
He failed. Yeah, he failed.
Here's my hot take.
I'm ready.
I'm going to ask you to help me with this a little bit. It makes total sense to me. It might be a little bit obscure to our readers.
Okay.
I want to preface it by saying I learned an hour before we started recording today that one of my heroes, Alistair McIntyre, died.
Yes.
Alistair McIntyre, author of After Virtue. Absolutely, I had hopes that I would be able to shake his hand one day. He was in his 90s. I knew he was not long for this world. McIntyre, argues that we are all kind of inheritors of a tradition. Whether or not we think that we belong to a tradition or not, we
Whether
all
we
have
accept
inherited.
it.
That's right. So he's very much a kind of anti-enlightenment when it comes to thinking about the moral life and the good life. The Enlightenment kind of has this sort of scientific idea that you kind of logically choose the good from a kind of like panoply of good and bad choices. And McIntyre's like, no, you don't.
Yeah,
no.
You're a rational actor who chooses what you're going to,
Yeah. McIntyre thinks that we're part of a tradition, and I love his definition of tradition, and this is all leading up to the hot take. A tradition is a socially embodied, historically extended argument about the good life.
So good.
It's so good. Rest in peace, Alistair McIntyre.
May his memory be eternal.
May his memory be eternal. He's one of those authors I look back and I think if I had never read him, my life would not only be very different, my life would be impoverished if I had never read him. So I'm sad at losing him. That background, John Steinbeck's religious tradition, here's my hot take. Here it is. Play the music.
Ready.
John Steinbeck's religious tradition is an almost exact replica of the theological shifts of American mainline Protestantism. So let me kind of walk you through it. American mainline Protestantism, think like Methodists, Baptists, Presbyterian. They've been around in America forever. But what a Methodist believed in 1800 and what a Methodist believed today, oh my gosh, are such different things.
Really different things.
Such different things. So at the beginning, Steinbeck is like steeped early in his life in biblical texts and imagery and biblical ideas. And you can read it everywhere in his writing. Cain and Abel, East of Eden, the Proverbs. This is like early America, right? Then there's a shift in Steinbeck's own writing, in Steinbeck's own life, and in American Protestantism, late in the 19th century, toward a sort of social program of religious beliefs. Right. So Grapes of Wrath is very much an indictment, and it's like it has a moral fervor to it.
Sure
it's an
does.
indictment of what capitalism does to the impoverished, to those who are on the margins, right? This is exactly what's going on in American mainline Protestantism, late 19th, early to mid part of the 20th century. Then, the 1960s for Protestantism, there's a sort of agnosticism and a heavy flirting with Eastern ideas.
True.
And this is exactly what's happening with Steinbeck's life. Exactly what's happening with Steinbeck's life.
Wow, Tim, I love the hot take. I love the hot take.
A couple more little data points that really coincide. Later in life, follow me on this one, Steinbeck lurches back toward a kind of quasi-conservatism. His son enlists in the armed forces before Vietnam. He becomes a good friend of Lyndon B. Johnson. I know that Lyndon B. Johnson.
He does?
Yes.
What?
Lyndon B. Johnson is like, he was a Democrat, right? He was left-leaning, but super conservative Texan.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so interesting. I did not know that.
Yes.
Because Lyndon B. Johnson, also not a nice man.
Not a nice man.
Like,
not a nice man. Maybe
man
the
who
meanest
turns
president we've ever had.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. So that kind of rightward swing to me in American Protestantism, that's like the fundamentalist evangelical kind of revolt against progressivism in American mainline Protestantism.
Protestantism,
I just thought that, I was like,
Tim,
oh my gosh.
I love it. That's a great hot take.
His life is an exact map onto American mainline Protestantism.
That's so funny. You know, Malcolm Muggeridge, his autobiography is called Chronicles of Wasted Time.
Mhm.
It's interesting how there are these characters, like what you just brought out with him. Malcolm Muggeridge ends up being like a witness to all these major events in the 20th century,
Yeah.
you know, which is
Yeah.
also like it's and like prominently kind of involved with them. So it's a little bit of a different thing than Steinbeck, but it is interesting when you can look
Really
at a life
interesting. Yeah,
as his life was archetypal in a way too.
totally.
Right?
Totally.
Archetypal of the trajectory of American Protestantism. It's brilliant. Maybe you should write a dissertation on that.
I was just thinking, I was like, this is the perfect dissertation for somebody not named Tim McIntosh. It's a great dissertation idea. Okay,
It
Emily,
sure is.
Emily, let's do rapid questions real quick.
Okay.
I know the first one. I'm pretty
You
pretty
sure
confident
are.
of the first one.
Yeah, you
A
should be.
California beach or a Colorado river?
Colorado River all the way.
I thought so.
Yeah, all the way.
A young James Dean or a young Marlon Brando?
Oh, young Marlon Brando
Yes.
for sure.
Yes, absolutely right.
James Dean
absolutely right.
Ain't got nothing. What is it? Streetcar Named Desire?
Yeah.
Oh,
Incredible.
he's so
Incredible. He's
yeah,
absolutely
James
incredible.
Dean was just a face. He didn't have much more besides a face.
Guess who Marlon Brando and young James Dean had in common?
Who?
This is not a joke. A therapist. They had their therapist in common. They saw
Shut
the same
up.
therapist. I swear. It's so true. Look it up. Okay, next one. Novels of social reform, Grapes of Wrath, or novels of manners, Pride and Prejudice?
I'm going to have to go with novels of manners.
I thought
because
so.
novels of social reform, as much as I love Grapes of Wrath, you do get the sense that he's preaching at you.
Yeah, I believe it.
Don't you
Yep.
think?
Yep.
And
He
with
says-
novels of social reform, like even Tolstoy, who you love.
Oh, 100%.
I'm going to get, like, that's the parts in Anna
100%.
Karenina that I'm like, come on.
Yep. Got
Stop it.
Leo. Got it, buddy. Got it.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, let me just give a little heads up. This is the last rapid question that I'm going to ask Emily. I just need to tell our listeners, you will notice that one of our American presidents is a contentious issue with Emily and I, and you're gonna understand after I ask this question. So, Emily, East of Eden was written, not written. It covers World War I. Who was president during World War I? Who led us in the triumph of World War I, Emily?
He said he wasn't going to enter the war for years and years. Woodrow Wilson, good old WW.
Here's my question for you. Woodrow Wilson or George W. Bush? As a president.
I can't even answer that question. Because there really is only one way to answer that question, but you have to say Woodrow Wilson, and I don't want to say Woodrow Wilson.
I don't mind if you do.
You could be. Why? That's not fair.
I love it.
That's not fair.
I think we will both admit, like, George W. Bush, we think is like a fine man.
Exactly.
But, yeah. The war was worst foreign policy decision, I don't know, 100
Yeah.
years? Anyway.
Probably so.
Thank you for joining us on this podcast, Hot Takes on the Classics. We are going to shift in our next podcast from storge, affection, familial love, to philia, or friendship. You'll want to tune in to the oldest book. We're going to talk about the oldest book that human beings have a copy of. As best we can date it, it's probably the oldest book we have a copy of. Hint, hint, it deals with subject matter, a rivalry between two men that is very much like East of Eden. But they're not brothers. Don't worry. They're not brothers.
Well, and it works out a little differently.
And it works out a little bit differently. Sure does. Thanks to Clark Stefanik, as always, our producer, and True North, our platform. Go check out the Christopher Perrin Show. We think you'll love it. And thanks to Tom Hagerman, who wrote and performed our music. Emily, I'll see you next time.
Sounds great, Tim.